So right now, we're about to embark on the Great Rokon Ride 2014 Washington State edition. So Tyler from Rokon World has put together this ride, and so Mark, Eli, and I are heading up to the undisclosed location. So this event was put on by Tyler right there in the gray shirt, and he had us all meet at a Walmart out in Shelton, Washington. So a lot of us showed up early so we could get a lot of good BSing in and kind of talk about the trail, what Tyler knew about it, and what kind of challenges we might face for the ride ahead. So we set out down the road, and from there it was probably another hour's drive just to get to the trailhead. And so we meandered up all the way through until we got to the parking area. From there we were able to get all of our bikes unloaded and get ready to set out on what lied ahead. As you can see, there wasn't a whole lot of room for parking, but we were able to manage and get our bikes fired up and get ready to head out. So, without further ado, let's head on up the trail. So like I said, we are in the middle of the Olympic National Forest. And so geographically speaking, if you look at the state of Washington, this is the big, large peninsula, and we're kind of like in the middle of that right now. So if you're looking at a map, you're probably, 50, 75 miles southwest of Seattle. So here we go. We're heading up to this trailhead on this Rokon. This is a 1969 Mark III that I bought from Mark's son, Eli. When I got this from him, this thing was literally in about 100 pieces. It was nearly completely taken apart. And so struck a deal on it. I really wanted one of these early Mark IIIs. I really like the history behind the Rokon, and I love this traditional look, and I wanted this traditional bike for my first Rokon. So putting this thing back together, we realized there were a couple of parts that needed to be replaced. And so we kind of had to go across the nation looking for some parts. And luckily, a guy by the name of Brent from Idaho had a couple of extra sprockets that he donated for the cause. But that wasn't all. We went to the Rokon factory while we were back in New Hampshire and were able to get one of the driveline pieces that I needed to get this thing going. So, literally we were all across the states trying to get this thing finished. So we're going up this trail. Now this trail, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's actually pretty darn steep in this territory. It's beautiful, but it's a pretty steep drop off to the right, and this trail really isn't that wide. And so coming up along some places here and you start to feel pretty comfortable, and then all of a sudden it gets real narrow and you see a bunch of old growth timber down below you, a couple 100 feet, and it'll make you pucker. I know I did. And so just trudging along, going up this hill, and if you ever see my left hand, leave the handlebars and go to monkey with something down below on the left. This particular model, these early models, they have a shift lever on the left, and there's 3 gears, and you got the low, the medium, and the high range. Low range, you've got about walking speed. It's maybe about 1.5 miles an hour, but it'll just go up anything in that. Medium, the second gear is one that you can get some pretty good speeds going on up through some of these trails. Like right there, just change gears, get going maybe 10 miles an hour. And the top gear on this particular model, the third gear, you might catch 20 miles an hour going downhill with the wind. Kind of narrow right in through here. You've got that old growth timber nurse log right there on the right, crowding us in on this little narrow trail. And just continuing up and up and up and up and gaining quite a bit of elevation. These GoPro cameras do a terrible job of showing depth of field and elevation and all that stuff, but they really do give you an idea of what it's like kind of to be here. So let's just continue up the hill. Yeah, so this particular trail is about 4 miles long, and so round trip we're looking at about maybe 8 miles. And as this ride started to go, it started to get more and more difficult as we went along. As you noticed, when we started, the trail seemed pretty tame. And here we are, we're getting really to our first set of obstacles. And this set of obstacles really was going to play out to be one of the easiest obstacles of the day. But coming right off, this seemed pretty daunting. So you can see this guy right here being pushed up and over. Now there's a big piece of like slate rock or something that we have to get up there, and some of us have older. Oh, he just crashed. But once you see up there where his bike is at, you're going to see here in a second why that kind of happened. But like on my bike, I've got my tires are they are 45 years old. They're old Goodyears. And say hi to Mark. He's right there on the right hand side of the screen. 45 years old, and they've gotten kind of hard, and they've lost a lot of their rubber feel to it. So I've got some new tires that I found that we're going to get put on this thing here before too long. But that in itself is going to be a bit of work. So here I'm trying to get up this boulder, this piece of rock, and the tires, they just really are not able to get a hold and a grip on this slick surface. So gotta get off here and try to walk it up and over. And so right over the top of this is where that guy just kind of stumbled. And when it drops down in here, it's maybe 16, 18 inches wide is all, because you've got this tree that's fallen down, and it was really narrow. One of the guys that went through here, well, actually that first guy that went through, he ripped the panniers off of his bike, and it wrecked some havoc on him. So dropping in here and thinking, oh boy, are my handlebars going to be too wide, or am I going to fit? And here we go. But yeah, it was quite an experience. And this trail just seemed to get worse and worse and worse. So the ultimate goal was to get to, there is a lake at the end of this trail. And so this actual video that we're going to be editing for the final cut when we get it done is going to be about our travels with these guys on our quest to get to this lake. And so, that was the first obstacle, and just continuing up this hill, all this old growth forest. It's just beautiful. You expect to see Sasquatch running around and jumping behind from trees, but never did see him. The huckleberries were in full season, and so anytime we stopped to take a break or whatnot, we were able to munch on huckleberries, which was really nice. So we're kind of coming up to the end of this first video, and this I think we're going to try to detail as best we can as what we were trying to accomplish and what we did accomplish and all that good stuff with this ride. We got to meet up with a bunch of cool guys from the Rokon World Forum, and one of them, Robert Mitten, we actually met up in Maine this year, so it was nice to see him again. But we get to this spot right here, and we'll end up sitting in this spot for about a half hour. A guy up there is working on his panniers, and Bob's bike wouldn't restart. Thanks for watching.